Okay, so the P is going to stand for parentheses. Make sure you write it correctly. I think I got it this time. But the P is going to stand for parentheses. Some of you probably already knew that. So what do parentheses look like? They're going to be these curved brackets. Curved brackets. They're going to look like this. So go ahead and write this down. That's what parentheses look like. Whenever you're doing a problem in class, you're going to go straight for the parentheses first. That's the first thing that you do because it's the first one in the list. So we're going to be looking at parentheses first. There are other types of grouping symbols that I want to tell you about. There are two that are even higher than parentheses on the list. And I'm going to write them out in yellow. Okay, so there are brackets. Brackets are going to be square. They're going to look like that. Brackets are kind of like square parentheses. That's what they're going to look like. This is just another type of grouping symbol, right? Kind of like parentheses, but brackets are done even before parentheses. You might see those today. And then the last type of grouping symbol that I think you should know to be successful are braces. Raise your hand if you have braces on your teeth. One? Okay. The braces are going to look like this. Braces. See if you can draw that on your paper. That's what the braces are going to look like. Those are the three grouping symbols that you need to know. Parentheses. They're pretty simple. You've seen them before. They're curvy. You've got brackets. Those are square. Kind of like you're drawing a box. And then you've got braces. And they kind of do look like the braces that go on your teeth. These are the three grouping symbols that you need to know. Okay. E. E is going to stand for exponents. So let me write that down. E is going to stand for exponents. When you have exponents, that means you're taking something to a power. Go ahead and write that down. This is x squared. When we do our problems today, we'll be looking at those first. Exponents are going to be these tiny numbers that are on the top right-hand side of the number. So go ahead and write down exponents and x squared. Okay, so the last four that we're going to talk about today are multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change my color to blue. And I'm going to draw a bracket between M and D. And I'm also going to draw a bracket between A and S. The M is going to stand for multiply, multiplication. The D is going to stand for division. Beside the multiplication, I'm going to put a dot. Beside the division, I'm going to put the division symbol. You've probably seen these before. So M and D are going to go together. Multiplication and division are opposites of each other. If I ask you what's the opposite of multiplying, you're going to tell me dividing. If I ask you what's the opposite of dividing, you're going to tell me multiplication, right? Those two operations are linked together, and we always do them from left to right. L to R. So over here off to the side, you're going to write L to R, because we're always going from left to right when we do order of operations. So now the last two that I want to talk about are going to be addition and subtraction. So let me write those down. So addition, what I'm going to do beside that is I'm going to put the plus symbol. There's my plus. And besides subtraction, I'm going to put the minus sign. So once you write down your plus symbol and your minus symbol, we're also going to write L to R, because addition and subtraction are going to be linked together. You always do them from left to right. Okay. Addition and subtraction are pretty easy to think about. They are opposites of each other, right? So if I ask you what's the opposite of addition, you're going to tell me subtraction. If I ask you what the opposite of subtraction is, it's going to be addition, right? Those two operations are fundamentally linked like that. Okay. I'll give you guys a few more seconds to get this down, and then we'll try some of the practice problems together. Morning. Okay, the first one I want you to try is this one. This is 3 to the power of 2. 3 has an exponent of 2. You can also say this is 3 squared, right? The big number at the bottom is called the base. 3 is called the base. So let me write that down. So my base is going to be 3. My exponent is going to be 2. So let me write that down. 2 is the exponent. So what's going to happen is the exponent is going to tell you how many times you need to write the base. The exponent is 2. That means I need to write 3 twice. So I write the 3 twice. I put the multiplication sign in the middle, and then I multiply 3 times 3. I get 9, right? So that's going to be my answer for this one. Go ahead and try these two on your own. I've got 5 squared, and I've got 2 cubed. If the exponent is 3, that means I'm cubing something. not squaring something. And when you get to the second step, you're always multiplying. So what is 5 times 5? What is 2 times 2 times 2? That's what you're going to be asking yourself. So what I can do is, because 5 is the base, I can write it twice because my exponent is 2. And then 5 times 5 is going to give me 25. And then down here, I have 3 2's that I need to write down. So I'm going to have 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And I bring down the other 2. And then 4 times 2 is 8. So you should get 25 and 8. So that's how exponents work. Pretty easy, right? If you ever need to use a calculator during class, you've got 3 options. You can use the calculator that's on your iPhone or phone, whatever you got. You can use a TI-83 graphing calculator. If you think you need to use one, just raise your hand and I'll get it to you. And also the last thing that you can choose is you can use your Chromebook to get on Desmos. And you've probably seen that before. Okay, so choose which option is best for you, because everybody's different, right? Let's try number 4. Okay, go ahead and write this one down and go ahead and try it on your own. So do you remember order operations when I said that the parentheses come first? That's the first thing that you're going to do. Whatever's inside parentheses first. So I wouldn't multiply first. I would do that last. I would do what's inside the parentheses first. So inside the parentheses, I have 8 plus 4. That's going to give me 12. Once I got that 12, I bring down the times 2. Now I've got 12 times 2. That's going to give me 24, right? That's my answer. You can put a check beside your answer, or you can circle it. Whichever one of those is fine with me. See if you can get number 5. The order for this is going to be very important. We always want to multiply before we add, right? So make sure you multiply first and then add. I'm going to multiply first. 8 times 1 is just 8. Once you've multiplied, now you can add. 10 plus 8 is 18, right? Okay, let's try 2 more. See if you can get number 6. There are a couple ways you can think about doing this. But remember that division is always going to come before subtraction. So you need to divide first. Then you're going to subtract. Now, the first way I like to think about this is I need to divide first, right? 12 divided by 4, that's going to give me 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So notice what happens. The 15 stays the same, right? 15 don't change. The subtraction sign still stays the same. That hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is this 12 divided by 4 right here. And I always do that first, right? Then I do subtraction. 15 minus 3 is 12. So now we're starting to get a little bit more complicated. But that doesn't mean the problem is hard, right? You just follow the order of operations. I always do what's inside parentheses first. That's the first thing that's in my list, is parentheses. What's inside parentheses? 20 minus 17. That's easy. That's going to give me 3. So I kept everything the same except for the 20 minus 17. That's 3. Okay. What comes after parentheses? The exponents, right? No exponents. That's good. I don't need to worry about any exponents, right? I can just move directly to multiplication. When I do multiplication, I do it from left to right. I always start from the left and go to the right. So I'm going to do 12 times 3. 12 times 3 is 36. Over here, I have another multiplication problem. 3 times 6. That's going to give me 18. And now I only have one more step to do. That's the subtraction. 36 minus 18 is 18. That's my answer. So a little bit more complicated, but that doesn't mean it's harder. Okay? All right, a little bit more difficult. Let's try this one. So don't make it any more difficult than it needs to be. Just follow the order of operations. We always do parentheses first. And since there are no parentheses, we don't need to worry about that. The next thing we do is exponents. Do you see any exponents up there? I see 2 of them. Go ahead and try those first. and keep everything else the same. So we're doing this step by step. We're not skipping anything. That's how you run into trouble. You start skipping things, right? 3 squared is 9. But I'm going to keep everything else the same. And then right here, 2 squared, that's 2 times 2. That's going to be 4. Okay. We're done with our exponents. Now we move on to multiplication and division. We do both of these from left to right. So starting on the left side, I have 9 divided by 3. I'm actually going to do the division before the multiplication because I'm going from left to right. 9 divided by 3. That's going to give me 3. Everything else stays the same for now because we're going step by step, right? The next thing that I see going from left to right is multiplication again. Let's do this one. 4 times 7, that's going to be 28. So 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, we're almost done, right? So we're done with the multiplication. Now going from left to right, on the very right-hand side, I see division. I want to do that next, before I get to the addition and the subtraction. 20 divided by 5, that's going to be 4. And now I only have addition and subtraction left. Let's do it from left to right. 3 plus 28, that's going to give me 31. And 31 minus 4, that's going to give me 27. So it's more complicated, right? There's more steps, but it's not necessarily harder. It's just more complicated. Okay? Now, let me throw you a trick question. Let's do number 9. I'll throw you a trick question. There is an answer to this, I promise. I'm not just joking with you. So for this one, we're going to go from left to right. Left to right. So starting off on the left side, I'm actually going to do division before I do multiplication because it's on the left side. 27 divided by 3, that's going to be 9, right? So I do this first because we're always going from left to right. Got it? And then 9 times 3 is 27. That's going to be the right answer, 27. So multiplication and division, you don't always multiply first. If there's division that comes before that, then you've got to do division first because we're going from left to right. Got it? What if I did this the other way? What if I multiplied first? Go ahead and try this over, but I want you to multiply first before you divide. See what you get. We're going to do the same problem, but we're going to multiply first. See what you get. All right, so this time we're doing it the wrong way. I'm going to multiply first. 3 times 3, that's going to give me 9, right? So I do the 3 times 3 first. And then now I'm dividing. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And I'm going to put a frowny face because this is wrong. So you should get 27 for your answer, not 3. Because when we do multiplication and division, we go from left to right only. Same way with addition and subtraction. We do left to right only. Got it? Okay. Let's try the classwork now. I'll get you in. Okay, so for this, you're going to put your first and last name at the top of the page. We're going to be doing all the questions, every single one of them. Now, if you need space to do your work, you could flip it over and do it on the back if you want to, or you can use the back of your notebook paper, or if you have another sheet of notebook paper, you can use that. But for every single one of these questions, you're going to be showing all your steps. The parentheses, the exponents, the multiplication and division, the addition and the subtraction. All of these are very important, and you're going to do them in order. Now, I've taken some of the answer choices, and I put them off to the side. Does everybody see the right side of the page? I put some answers in the boxes. I think they're going to help you out a lot when you do the even ones. But for the odd ones, you're on your own. But we're going to get all these done today. Once you're finished, you can get on your cell phone or do stuff on the Chromebook. That's fine. As long as I don't hear it, I'm okay with it. Yes, you can. Okay.
Somebody has a calculator, raise your hand if it was you.
The bonus question at the bottom is not optional. You gotta do that. But you can do it though. Raise your hand if you would like to use a TI-83 calculator. Does anybody else want to use something like this? Okay. Let me know if you need it.